Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Meta HSE Valorant Championships Lower Grand Finals. And of course, I'm Digital Cast. My co-caster today has Daddy Slim. How you doing, Slim Shady?
I'm doing well, Dig. We're looking at a very nice lower grand final best of three. It is the Rangitoto College up against St. John's Park. And both of these teams vying to get to the grand finals, where they will run into the Glen Waverley boys, the fellas over on eviction notice who got through when we were casting last week. But they've got to do their duty here first today. 3 maps and possibly a best of 3. We could be going all the way for all those 3, or maybe it'll just be a 2-0 to one of these sides. It remains to be seen, but it should be an absolute crack. We're looking forward to it here, and we hope that everyone is looking forward to it as well. I mean, if you're in here, you're looking to see some high-tier Valorant gameplay, and that's what we've all come to expect from the Meta HSE schooling. I mean, last week we had a best of, well, it was best of ones most of the way. We also had a team with only 4 players, which was interesting to say the least. Yeah. Unfortunate. We also had a forfeit this morning from, unfortunately, I think it was one of the teams had to pull out of the other finals. We were supposed to start at midday, but unfortunately we only have the guys now for the 2:31. But we've still got it. We've still got some action, and I think we're both looking forward to doing some.
Indeed. And, you know, this will be, of course, the lower grand final championships, like I said earlier. So it is a best of 3 elimination, of course. And the 3 maps we are going to, it will be Ascent, Bind, and Haven. Of course, let's go on with the predictions, right? I think, though, Rangitoto College, they should have this either 2-0 or 2-1. I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, Rangitoto, I think that they're probably coming into this one with a bit more confidence than the guys over on St. John's. I don't think St. John's are going to go down with the 2-0. I think they'll at least try and get a map off here. But Rangitoto, they definitely gave Eviction College a lot to think about last week. Couldn't quite put it all into paper when they needed to. They went down 13-8, 13-8. So they'd want to be getting back there. They want to try and get themselves to that point where they can go up against them again. That would be a big plus. But it all remains to be seen as we're getting into our picks already. The players are going through. Chopper Steve has already gone to that Sage, looking nice there. In fact, Foxy, Green, Ricade, and Mikashi, they've all gone through. They've already got their 4 up. They're looking fantastic. Toby locks in that Sage, so they are ready to go to defenders. They want this one done. They want to get it absolutely beaten right away. And it should be an absolute crack here. But starting off on Ascent, this is going to be, well, it's how you want to start the day, I guess. You want to be going up confident, get those first couple of pistol rounds, go into those gun rounds, build up a few credits, just get the ball rolling. So it'll be interesting to see which team is going to come out of the gate. And it's going to be looking like just the one attacker on both sides. We've got a Sova over, and also looks like both Sage as well. So you're going to see a few Sage walls blocking a few entrances over towards those A and B sites.
Yeah, really stock standard lineup on both sides, and the best thing about this actually, it's very varied between Rangitoto College and St. John's, because you do have your Sages, but however the difference here really is it's the Sentinels, right? You have one Killjoy whose ultimate, in my opinion, is very much impactful on a smaller map like Ascent. Meanwhile, Oppo on the Cypher, really heavy on intel, and hopefully he can have some pretty nice cage and trap setups to play off of. But my eyes are mainly on Celeste Sky and how he can use that agent to help his team enter onto the site, starting off an attack. And of course, Greeny on defense, the Astra Util, how he'll utilize the stars to basically block off these choke points. As you can see over towards A main right off the bat, that's 2 stars already placed in that choke point, one for a smoke and the other potentially a gravity well to stop a fast push, which it does indeed seem to be what's happening right now coming out from the attackers. All 5 players of St. John's about to aggress over towards A, and that's what the Killjoy Util is as well. It's going to be quite the rude awakening.
So the Burning Tiger going right on towards that side. Let's put the 2 out towards there. Well, Miss Mikashi is Hina pushing towards the side of that ghost. Picks up one. Mikashi with the trade there. Picks up another one to Hina. So holding space here. Does the Astra. She's going to fall eventually. So 3v3. The bomb should go down here. Some healing coming in as well there from the side of Celeste. Some damage there from 50. Doesn't quite get the kill across though, as now the spike planted. The Astra plant begins here. He's holding off angles, and it's just sort of hiding away at the moment. They don't want to take these fights. Want to take as much time off the clock as possible. I think he's going to have to get in line here. One on 50. He's also to second. Celeste though picks one up. Now it's all left on Toby in the 1v2, trying to get this bomb or this spike down to fuse. Any healing still left on them. They get the first one. 21 HP. They get pushed on the right. Oh, back and Toby. What? Celeste. Oh no. Misses just the 21 HP on Toby. And somehow it's going to be Rangitoto College coming out with the win in that round.
That okay, in my opinion, should not have happened.
That's
I
a
mean,
start.
yeah. Look, it's a 2v1, right? And it's post plant. The attackers have the like obvious advantage because Toby he has to stick the defuse at the end of the day, and instead the attackers, I guess, Oppo he was in a rough spot and sort of just went for the challenge regardless. But Celeste, you don't really have to go for the swing. Just hold, you know. And Toby has to aggress onto you, otherwise he can't really defuse. And then Celeste does push and misses basically all the bloody right clicks, and Toby it escapes barely with his life to clutch that out. 1v2, and he's already halfway. Oh my god, for his erection. That recon arrow just hits the camera as well, and out comes the Ares spray. The attacker is just not having a good time in this round with the inferior pistols.
Yeah, the gun's certainly not with him as well. He's already pushing up here, trying to look for another one here as well. Getting really aggressive. On top of Bingzu. Mikashi grabs that one. Cannon also picking up a couple over towards that B main area. And a flawless round coming through, which means they get to save all their guns across into the next. They keep pretty much most of their utility. And even if they lose this round, they're going to have a nice buy going to next. Meanwhile, here for St. John's, they need to make sure that this gun round goes across, and it's a fairly clean one. At least having, 3 or 4 players surviving. That's the plan. Whether or not it comes to fruition is another story.
Yeah. That previous round, not much to really say. They just unfortunately didn't have a really good start into it. Already getting chains down low. But oh god, okay, Hina, that's a swing, and Fixie doesn't get anything out of it. One player is down for the defense, and so far this buy round off to a good start, and getting the ult orbs on the extremities as well. You have the Sky ultimate charged up, and I mean you can use it this round. The bonus buy is still very it's still very impactful, and well, poor Killjoy has to run away. It gets caught out in the air. Mikashi not goes unpunished. Oh, please don't television onto him.
Getting caught all in these Killjoy stuff here. Green's going to pick up the first on the chopper seat, putting him back to the 4v4, and the spike has dropped as well, so they have to commit towards this A site. So only 2 players on there, so they have the chance for Green to be holding it perfectly at the moment with a second. Mikashi even grabs one of the Bingzu as well. Greedy with another 3 for him. Mikashi picks up 2. And somehow that goes all wrong there for St. John's. They got the opening pick, but that push on the A site just did not go to plan at all. And it's already 3 on the board here for Rangitoto.
On paper there, St. John's, they should have won that round. They open up with 1 nice pick, and then even have the Sky ultimate, which was invested that round as well. Didn't get much out of it though. And the main thing was, right, they knew exactly where Mikashi was. Mikashi ran out in the open, nothing to back him up, and went basically unpunished. That shouldn't happen. And then as a result, you had the St. John's player trying to basically chase him down onto site, and they get tunnel vision. And there was that Astro util I talked about earlier. He just locked off the choke point, and one by one, they just got sprayed down to absolute death. Oh dear, it's gonna be rough as well. Look at this. They've already pushed mid and still B main with the Ares spray. I don't really think St. John's is having a good time in this game to start things off at the very least.
One enemy remaining.
Already spammed through Green to take down Hina. It's all left on Oppo. Does manage to pick up the Scepter, but can get absolutely nothing done there as Mikashi goes running through the Omen smoke, and all of a sudden 4-0. And look at that credit score. It is just rolling right now for Rangitoto. Everyone pretty much almost towards 4 at this point. Gregory sitting at 4,300. And now Fixie with that buy has to drop a bit. And they've also just got, a couple of spam ones. Kadon's just firing his recon dart over towards the B site. They're not destroying it. And every time they don't, he's seeing about 3 players, holds the angle, sprays it down. Just gets a whole lot of damage, and he's not even seeing anyone.
It's rough. This is the second buy round now, and hopefully St. John's, they can pull out something better by Fixie. Oh, what a shot. Hina, which is hovering over the box. You can't even swing that angle safely. Fixie has put on his own blades, and unfortunately, they've just pissed off more than he can chew, and he does get gunned down. And now St. John's, 1-man advantage, and this looks to be a mid to B play, I would like to assume. But however, over towards short, Mikashi is fast on the flank, along with his teammate in top mid, and if Rangitoto don't go fast, they may get caught out. All in market now, and it's all down to Sage to lock the angle down.
Toby left with a lot to do on towards this B side. Does have thing at the top, and they're still clearing out. I don't know if they're going to check this first. The spam actually goes through first, so they've got some sort of idea of where they might be sitting. I say that. Toby takes down the first one on the Celeste. Spike still sitting on the ground. Bingzu picks up a Toby with a second as well, causing trouble. Bingzu with a couple though, bringing it back into the favor of St. John's. The sprint in from Toby goes wide, and Oppo punishes them. And that is the first round there for St. John's. It got a little hairy, but they get the job done in the end.
Wow. I like how St. John's, they had a rough idea of where Toby was, one of the players at least, but unfortunately they didn't fully commit to clearing lane, and Toby just escaping with murder towards the end of that round. What did he get? 2-3 kills, and now one off of the resurrection. The defense, their economy, it's been pretty solid all game long, so it's going to take a couple of rounds back to back coming from St. John's to really do some damage. And this round, you have 3 rifles, but 2 specters, a couple of ultimates to play with. It's going to be rough either way. And Greeny, one-way smoke, spots out a few, and nice discipline. Doesn't go for the challenge, will back off.
He could have jumped in there, but decides against it. Probably for the best, considering there was 3 or 4 players waiting around the corner for him. Celeste throwing out that 4th flash. Honestly, didn't get anything off there. The Jet Smoke's going down here for Hina. He's going straight on towards the side. Spam double. Toby aware of what's going on, and the spam through connects with the head. And already a good start to the round. Fixie picks up Oppo as well, and just like that, it's a 5v3. The spike will go down. They have to hold out very, very hard here if they want to get this one done. The Killjoy ultimate also coming out here as well from Mikashi, and they all have to make their way away. They could almost just start getting at least halfway between this one, and the pull in from the Astra will almost get them caught in that one. The defuse, it's already coming in. It's halfway. They can just hold this if they want to. Greenery holding the angle, spamming down, and just like that, it's done. And they can do absolutely nothing about it, St. John's, unfortunately. I mean, it's a well-placed Killjoy ultimate. And I mean, what can you do in that situation? You all have to go back towards that A main area and then just hope that the defuse hasn't gone through. Unfortunately, it had, and that's a 5th round on the board here for Rangitoto. They are looking pretty solid so far, and that credit, well, bank just continues to grow for a lot of their players.
After the Killjoy lockdown went down and the attackers, they backed off site. I think they could have gone over towards Wine, but I remember hearing a couple of shock darts and maybe nanoswarms come out, so I'm not too sure if Rangitoto actually had lineups. I'll have to say they didn't, but this round to start things off, Mikashi, oh, you can't be doing that, mate. You have a pretty big gun. But Fixie does not care, just flies over towards the tiles and manages to snipe down Chopper Steve. You take down one of my teammates, I'm going to get retribution.
In fact, he gets away with that big thing. Absolutely huge cats on coming through with a couple as well. Now it's all left on Bingzu as Toby puts them down. The right click with the classic finishes him off, and we are already sitting at a 6-1. 5 will be able to come in here from St. John's. They need to try and start to string a few together. They can't let this one get away too quickly, especially to start this first map. I mean, it's all about confidence as well. You want to be trying to feel like you're getting on top early, and that's what Rangitoto are getting. They're getting this roll going. They've got the 6 rounds on the board, and St. John's just haven't had too many answers. They've been getting a lot of the opening picks for a few of them, but unfortunately, when it comes to that sort of mid and just the fight on towards the side, they're just getting traded out and unfortunately not being able to respond.
They really struggle towards late rounds. Is unfortunate. And Fixie, God, this guy's an absolute freak with these angles. Okay, Chopper Steve does peek him out, and Fixie backs off, but I don't think he's going to show them that much respect. That jump as well. Hina knows exactly where he is, and Fixie, man, that just was not the play. 2 early picks for St. John's, and the defense is going to be rather spread thinly. But if Hina is looking the wrong way, we'll get caught off guard by Mikashi, and the numbers damn near equalize. Remember, the resurrection is still available for the defense, and Mikashi looks for more. Oh, flips around, gets Oppo towards tiles, and look, late round again. We are seeing St. John's just struggle.
They will be able to get that revive in towards Cadon as well here for Rangitoto, and all of a sudden they're the ones in control with a 4v3 to start this race. They swing out there, Celeste will put down Mikashi, so make them back into even numbers. And the spike has already been ticking for a while here as they start to push in here. There, Bingzu holding the angle nicely though, gets one, looking for a second, he gets the Chopper Steve, shuts down Cadon, and St. John's pull it back nicely. A very good hold on towards the A site. They get the job done. Their 2nd round on the board. And again, they have a nice buy across here. But that's the thing for Rangitoto. I mean, Fixie sitting at 9,000 credits. So it doesn't really have to worry too much about what they think about a buy this round. Could even get another operator. And that's just like exactly what they're going to do.
Oh yeah, look, Jet defense operator, very oppressing to play against. But however, in the previous round, Fixie, I think he got a little bit too ahead of himself and got punished. But look, this time though, I think he will show a little bit more respect, hopefully, to St. John's. And St. John's, I mean, it was a close round, but this time though, it may not flow their way again. Although initially, they are going really aggressive. Good flash, doesn't get the killjoy though. And they're just fighting on sight. It's an all-out brawl. They do manage to take control basically on the A side of Bingsu. The emergency TP goes deep into defender spawn, picks off 2. The defense, Rangitoto, they're struggling. Where's the communications? It's all down to Fixie with an operator. Has to ace it to win it. I don't think it's doable.
Bingsu popping off there.
And look, on the flank, Oppo.
Oh, there you go, Oppo. Right around. Fixie has absolutely no idea about that one and pushes them into the ground. And 6-3. St. John's responding with some very nice rounds here. Pretty much a flawless one there, apart from Bingsu losing his life. But that's exactly the kind of response they're after. They push in towards those sides, they teleport behind. There's absolutely no communication there from Rangitoto that was anything. No one had any clue that he'd gotten in that back. And now all of a sudden, they've got themselves a little bit of a roll. 2 rounds in a row, looking to try and get this to 6-4. Possibly look to even up the half here with 3 rounds left. And Rangitoto just need to sort of pull it back a bit. They will still have pretty decent buys. McAshy getting aggressive here. And I mean, look, I like when you push to the judge. Probably not when it's into 3 people at a decently long range. But hey, you know, that's you got to try things, I guess.
Yeah, look, Rangitoto right now, they played with a lot of confidence earlier on in the game, but now they're starting to make a lot of mistakes, even with the judge, you know. Sure, sometimes you can push, but granted, for a shotgun, it's hard to hold tighter angles and just play the close-range engagements, and just going down initially, starting things off like that, your killjoy util on site, if there was any, is basically useless. And now, look, the defense, the spread thin again, they have to try to get the refrags, it's just not coming through, and Greeny has the operator. A gun, realistically, they can't afford to lose, and they're barreling down him. Good for 1. Greeny gets a second? Okay, that's too many in my opinion. Chopper Steve ending with 3, and St. John's, they're coming back into this, just really abusing Rangitoto College's mistakes right now.
Yeah, Rangitoto, they've been getting away with the aggression so far in those earlier rounds, and it's been pretty nice for them. Unfortunately, now they're just sort of getting a bit too aggressive, it seems. Finally, they're sort of going to lose most of their credits. I mean, McAshy's got that Vandal. The rest of the team only sitting on the Sheriffs. A bit of half armor, trying to save at least for that last round of the first half. And all of a sudden, St. John's just 2 rounds behind. They've got themselves in a very nice position to even us up at 6 apiece to end this first half.
Oh, that's dirty. Fixie had the right idea, but Hina, bigger gun, a little luck as well. And look, Jet dash onto site first thing. And Greedy, nice actually, nice fragile. Let's get 1, couldn't get a second though. And Hina was already fast on the backstab. Okay, this is rough defense. Once again, spread thin. You have a Killjoy ultimate, but I would say don't invest it in this round. You have Sheriffs, but sure, I guess, go for it. And this will force the attackers to back off over towards Long, and Hina, he doesn't care about respect. Dives right in there. Even if he gets detained, he'll go down. He still manages to pick up 1 McAshy. 1v1. 30 HP though, and he knows what Oppo is. Well, Oppo knows where he is, but he's sticking it all the way. McAshy can also get this. Oppo's running thin, and McAshy gets off in the nick of time just for Oppo to take him down. Oh, St. John's, that was a close round, but they are definitely not out of this game.
Yeah, Hina doing everything he could that round, and it pays off in dividends, staying in that defender's killjoy and picking up those 2 frags to stop that retake from going through. And just like that, 6-5, a chance to even us up at 6 apiece. Full buys here from both teams to finish it off. And I mean, yeah, the Killjoy ult's investment, I can understand why it went through there. It's you know, you're looking to just get as many rounds on the board as possible, but when you only have the few Sheriffs and maybe the 1 rifle, it is a bit questionable. It almost worked out pretty quickly there as Fixie looking towards me. Going to spot out Hina with those knives. Can't quite land the first shot. Both these Jets going back and forth right now. Hina looking to see if they can just spot a tiny head, anything to show those knives at. For now, they're just going to back off. Look like they're going to be pushing towards this A main area. Meanwhile, it is Oppo on that angle there, and Toby's aware. The camera, I don't think, can be underspotted there as they're going to be pushing on towards the site now. The Popper as well there from Celeste, and all of a sudden they're just bursting on towards here. Catalan's going to get that one taken as Hina gets the first one onto Greeny. Meanwhile, Oppo making a distraction over towards his B side. Going to at least keep Toby distracted for a while. Hina already underneath heaven here, and there's going to be being with the 1. Almost a second there onto Fixie as well. The knives doing what they need to, and Fixie's almost popping out their toes as well as the flank gets playing. The Hunter's Fury will actually stop that for a second as Chopper Steve taking some damage. And now it just comes down to, and there it is, Spine Plan of 5v3 retake.
St. John's, no, in a really good spot to really even up the first half. There's no way they can lose this round. They're playing on side. Catan, though, starts things off. Good shock dart. Now, 3 players of St. John's are very low, but Bingsu makes short work of the players on defense. That's all down to Catan. 1v2. Can't land the shots, and Hina left, right. Good night. Delivers the finishing blow, and 6-6. There's your first half. Tied up.
Yeah, and a great comeback there from St. John's. Rangitoto, they got out of the blocks. They're leading 6-1, and we thought this could be a really quick map here on Ascent, but full credit to St. John's. They pulled it back 5 rounds in a row for themselves as they now move on to that defensive side. Going to be a couple of ghost picks up here. Bingsu with that half armor by my looks of things. Frenzies for Ashley and Greeny, and also the classic armor combo there for Toby. Fixie and Katon looking like they're going to pick up a couple of ghosts. As I believe it's going to be looking like there's going to be this B push here, where it's only the one player sitting at the moment. It's going to be sort of Oppo on the side, Celeste back towards the boathouse area. And this will, well, first round of this second half, it's always important you try and get it across. You have that bonus round, especially when you can use that, get yourself a lead back, as they're going to immediately try and start breaking into one here. The Tasmanian target from Celeste jumping in, going to spot quite a few, and already the rotation's coming through. However, they're going to start falling back off this one and maybe start rotating over towards mid up there, or maybe going back towards that A side, try and pick them off. But already there's 3 rotating towards them.
That's intel as well over towards mid. Celeste knows exactly where the attackers are going, and even does mention dink one of them. Now, that Sage is good, and on pistol rounds is very oppressive to try and play against because it's hard to destroy. Now, Spike to go down, and, you know, I wasn't expecting this, but 5v5 post-plant, and now here comes the gunfire. They're trading shots back and forth. Good flash, but the attacker is trying to set up a decent post-plant, and the defense, they're already here, but there's one late flank coming through in form of Jet. However, it has to come in now. There you go, from behind. Fixie, he's behind enemy lines. It could do so much damage. Misses his shots though, that's not good! Can't get the lineup, gets nothing! That's not how you want a flank to go. And the defense is starting to swarm onto the side. There's only 2 attackers left. They haven't killed the turret, but to no effect. And the defenders, they retake site just like that. Oh my god! Rangitoto! What happened?
Yeah, you gotta feel for Fixie in that situation. Your eyes light up. You've got 3 players. No one has a clue that you're sitting there. And then the shots just don't land. And then it's just an absolute nightmare. And just like that, 6 in a row now for St. John's as they take the lead for the first time in this game. And they've got themselves their buy across as well. It's going to be Rangitoto going to have to save. Just have the classics. No armor, no anything. Just really try and save as many credits across and get that full buy in towards our 15th round, but still an opportunity to possibly get something done. Frenzy Toby is actually going to pick up there. As maybe if they can just find a couple of kills, make the reinvestments go through here. That's what they're after. With Katon jumping back and forth there, but Hina's up to the challenge. Fixie right to the dome. Absolutely nothing they can do about that. Now it's just comes down to who blinks first here. Gets on, jumping back and forth, and decides, you know what, probably not the best idea. If he also go with the Sheriff, there could be something that happens here, but the moment he told him that, he falls off it, and Hina's going to punish him for it. He's already got 2 in the round as they start pushing through this mid area, but Bingsu and Celeste are having absolutely none of this. Greenery now left in the 1v5, and they're going to get nothing done there. The 4th round there for St. John's. 8-6, they can save all those guns across. They'll have some decent bank, and even if they win this round as well, it's going to be even better. But the timeout's actually going to come in here, and probably not the worst idea for Rangitoto. They've dropped the last 8 rounds on the trot after being up 6-1. It's got to be playing in your minds at that point. Well,
actually, the last 7 rounds, just a little bit of math there. But yeah, indeed.
Counting is very hard.
Counting is hard. 7 rounds drops, you know, back to back, and Rangitoto, they had a great start, but I think they should have called the timeout earlier. Especially, like, I think the best time to call it was after them losing 3 rounds back to back earlier on, because those 3 rounds, it was just mistakes coming from Rangitoto round after round, the aggressive peaks for no reason, and fighting challenges in which they didn't really have to fight for because they were on defense, and then their economy was broken after that 3rd round, and it just snowballs all the way until now. At this rate, St. John's, honestly, if they win this bonus, they're in a really good position to basically get to match point and potentially just win out the map 1 without Rangitoto getting any more than 7 or 8 rounds at the most. So this buy round, it's an understatement to say it's crucial for Rangitoto College. They need to win it, otherwise their economy flat broke, and that's not the only problem because St. John's, they'll be getting free gun upgrades. should they win. They are on defense after all. Let's see if Hina, once again, can start things off with a nasty pick with the Marshall. He did it last time. Honestly, he can do it again.
Well, Toby and Greenery are waiting for him here if he does choose to peek that. He sees the first, doesn't quite land that first shot there. Meanwhile, the rest of the Rangitoto guys heading towards that A side. The wall has gone up there from Chopper Steve just to hold them off for the second. The bomb comes up. Trixie close up your head. Oh, Billion with that Marshall. And just like that, this gun round has been absolutely torn apart for Rangitoto. Celeste picking up another as well. And Hina has just absolutely destroyed this. Greenery finally gets one back onto Bingzu. Again, Catherine, you can't be peeking your head up. You've got to be careful. This man is just going back and forth. Greenery with another, but Oppo shuts them down. And now it's all left on Canon. He has the boss spike here, and he will be able to put down Hina. 7 seconds on the clock. He doesn't have a chance to rotate, so there is possibilities, but that half HP is going to make it very, very difficult. And just look at that. Celeste and Oppo have those Vandals and Phantoms that have been dropped by the Rangitoto guys.
If he wants to rotate out, okay, he just lost any opportunity for that to happen. And that's the power of Sky. A single flash in confirms the location of where you are. And look, Hina, what an absolute freak, you know? I sort of alluded to it earlier before the round even started. I didn't actually expect him to do it, but now economy damage is done, regardless of whether or not Catan clutches this 1v2. In the next round, it will be St. John's full buy and versus a pretty crappy buy coming up from Rangitoto. They're going to struggle regardless. And he's getting past Cypher Util as well. It's slowing him down. Oh, mate. Time is running thin. 10 seconds. There's a camera to worry about. And the defenders, best be sure, they're going to play this as a team. 2v1, guaranteed trade. And they have full HP as well. Catan, good luck, man.
Tasmanian Saga popping out here, and Catan, they've spotted him out already. The camera is still up as well. He has just been jumped in from absolutely everywhere. Oppo finishes him off as Celeste celebrates with a knife twirl and a bit of teabagging up and down. I don't really know if they classify as a teabag when the body is like hanging up in the air. It makes it a bit more difficult, I imagine. But that is 9 on the board now for St. John's, and now they have won 8 in it. Wait, and no, wait, 7, 8. There we 8. Okay, 8. I can count. Look, I'm a smart man. You know. That's
Kids, if you want to be able to count well, remember, stay in school, right? Yeah. Stay in school. Don't turn out like has Eddie Slip.
I stayed in school, so what does that tell you?
Damn.
What does that tell you about the Australian?
Don't go to his school. Don't go to his school. That's the thing. All right. And look, you know, I said it earlier. Free gun upgrades. 2 rifles taken by who was it? St. John's basically, and Rangitoto. They're on a pretty stiff half buy. You have half armor. You have a couple of SMGs and sheriffs. But look, man, it's not gonna be easy. Cosmic Divide has been invested early on, but however short is still an issue. Fixie, doing good diving onto Cypher, opens things up, takes down Hina. Okay, despite being on half buy, they're doing so much damage. Celeste can't land the shot, and Toby with the sheriff escapes with murder. 2v3, this retake, it's very much doable, but when that wall goes down, the jobs will become a lot more difficult.
Oppo and Bingzu now looking to try and see if they can get this round back under control here. St. John's, Oppo's going to get that first with the Phantom, and now the 2v2 situation. Holding that close angle here, though, with that Judges Toby, a third in the round, and already damage on towards Bingzu. And now Toby and Greeny can just go back and forth between it, put him down. And Rangitoto finally break through. They get their 7th on the board, and a much-needed one there. That half buy, the investment, it pays off big time. Now we're going to have our real first gun round here. Both teams, the Vandals, the Phantoms, the full body armor is coming out. And this is where things get really, really hectic because they need to pick up another round here, Rangitoto. They lose this one, even though they just picked up the last. All of a sudden, it's 10-7. They don't particularly have a lot of credit to invest into the next one. And then it's 7-10, 7-11, 7-12, 7-13. And they don't want that roll to happen. And Hina already getting very aggressive, and this time with an operator as well.
Yeah, so he won't even have to aim for heads, just hit the damn body, and that's an insta grave. And he's locking the angle down. They need potentially a flash to bail them out there, which they don't really have, unfortunately. I just realized with their composition. They are going to be playing basically with smokes and hard executes. Hina gets a collateral! What was that, through a smoke or something? Oppo chimes in. Oh man, Rangitoto, what the hell? You win an acre, but on your 5 rounds, you just full choke. Hina, full confidence right now. Catan, once again, that's the ace to win it. Man, just run for the hills. Save your life. Oh, Bingsu, what a TP! That's just disgusting! What a way to end the flawless round, and double digits right now for St. John's and the economy. You said it at the start of the previous round. It's pretty rough right now for Rangitoto. You can't really buy much into this. You have to eco, and then it's going to be 11-7. After that, you can't afford to lose any more. Otherwise, you're going to have to play flawless to even go into overtime.
Yeah, I mean, the style points there from Bingsu and Hina. Like, the push in, it wasn't exact. They had the Killjoy ultimate, they invested in it, and then, you know, two players run out at the same time. You get collided, and all of a sudden the round is just completely gone. They need to put that in the back of the nines and try and pick up something here. Fixie does have the knives available if they want to try and invest into this. They keep out going towards this A side. The pick up above there towards the Heron area. Actually, a nice little jump up. Won't spot anything out, and Chopper Steve will see them falling back down towards the earth. As now they're going to be making their way back towards the T spawn, and maybe just see if they can find something else here towards mid. Fixie looking around with these knives out, making a bit of noise. Bingsu not wanting to pick the position just yet. He has to. As they start their push in towards this B main area, this has to work completely out.
Oh no.
They want to get anything done here.
The cages, they have a good idea of where it is, and they're sitting Usul in first. Oh, okay, this is absolutely chaos right now. Good paranoia, and the flash doesn't do anything, but doesn't matter. Oppo, he leverages that blind and just starts spraying them down towards lane, just like that. Only Mikashi with the classic gets a kill, but everyone else, they get mowed down. Rangitoto, they just are not having it now. St. John's, they found their stride, and now it's them who are playing with full confidence.
Yeah, what a recovery. 6-1 they were down, and now they find themselves up 11-7. 10 rounds to 1 since that point. And I mean, we thought Rangitoto, they were looking pristine. We thought, man, they're going to run away with this first map in Ascent. St. John's, they've turned the script here. Hina has been the catalyst of that 22 kills, leading all comers by 8. The closest next one there, Greeny and Bingsu. But again, another full buy round here. Fixie will only be on towards that Sheriff. Needs to find something here. Hina going aggressive early towards that A main area. Also with Chomper Steve there, going to spot out Killjoy's turret, but not really going to go past that much further. Meanwhile, they're sort of in these default positions at the moment. They don't want to get too aggressive early. They're just trying to see if they can find an opening pick. That's what they need. Just try and get one of these players down. Maybe try and get the Cypher one off. Then you don't have to worry about all this stuff. Because when they were pushing in towards that B side last round, they just got completely done in by basically every single piece of utility that the guys over on St. John's had. They need to just find something here to turn it around. And got to be careful here, Mikashi. They don't want to go down on themselves because there's no one there to trade. And Hina, 23, and is in absolute cruise control right now.
Honestly, I have no idea what Rangitoto is trying to do right now. When they play the attack, right, they don't tend to really work a lot of mid control and don't really try to work early round picks before aggressing onto a site. And all they seem to want to do is just walk onto a site or just bomb rush it. But the problem is the defense right now for St. John's is pretty much on points. Although Chopper Steve, he may be in a little bit of trouble here, but they don't clear the corner. Where's the rest of the team? Chopper Steve going on a roll, takes down 2. His job is done here. Half the manpower remaining for Rangitoto, but they do equalize it. Hang on, let's bring them down. If anything right now, it's St. John's who are over-aggressing. 10 seconds though, Bingsu, all he has to do is play the objective and play the spike. Greeny has to do his all good paranoia, and that is it. Bingsu, well played, full class, match point now, and Rangitoto, they're on an eco. I'd say game 1 is done.
Paranoia blind, and I mean, you have to feel for Rangitoto here. They would be completely rattled right now. You had that advantage earlier, you were looking great, and all of a sudden you're looking at the scoreboard now going 12-7. Yeah. You got to be feeling down with yourself. They almost had the chance. I mean, Green Toby brought that one back from what looked like an unwinnable position, but then Bingsu clutches it out in the end, and unfortunately, they cannot make any more mistakes from here on out. The Spectres all around. Greeny will pick up that Phantom with the half buy of the armor. And now they need to make sure everything works here. 5 map points here for St. John's to try and push this one through to a 1-0 lead.
It's such a stark difference to a little bit later as Fixie just dives right in and slow up. None of the teammates could join him. This is so much desperation, but all the Mikashi just runs by, sprays down, takes down Chopper Steve. They've taken the A side by a storm, and now look at this. St. John's are throwing bodies at them, and they're the ones who are just falling one by one. If I didn't know better, I would say St. John's, they damn near threw that round. But Oppo, maybe I want to say something about it. They're spraying them down, but in a flurry of action, Wow, everyone on St. John's goes down 6 feet under, and you know, I gotta say, 8-12, Rangitoto College, they're not out of this just yet, but they kind of have to win another round and break the economy of St. John's before they can really try to go for the overtime.
Well, the good thing that comes out of that last round there is they pick up a whole lot of guns that were dropped there from the St. John's guys, who still get a nice buy across, but I mean, they pop this round down all of a sudden. They're not exactly sitting pretty. I mean, you've got Bingzu and Oppo, who should be able to invest pretty much fully into the next if they wanted to, but then their teammates around them not exactly looking too great in that credits department.
You should
Again, they're looking to try and get sort of aggressive towards Tay side. In fact, Mikashi's just going to throw the attack to Killjoy down. They're going to go immediately just onto this one, but Hina holding this angle here, and they're still able to look in. The pull-in, though, from the one there, Greeny, and the smoke off they get there. Bingzu gets the first, the teleport away as well. Look to even get a second as well. They still think he's under there. Hina with a third, and all of a sudden a 5v2 just like that. It's all falling apart. Bingzu pushing his Fixie. Will be able to save Greeny for once there, but Fixie now left in a 1v3, trying to pull something. Gets a nice one with the knives, and all of a sudden still a chance here. Just running on the side, throws the knife, gets the second. Oh my god! We were talking up Hina on the jet, but Fixie's had enough and clutches out the round, and we keep going. What on earth was that?
Jesus! What a play! Okay, look. That may have just saved the mental of Rangitoto. That basically brought them back into this game. They can not only, like, rebuy into this round, but the economy right now of St. John's is starting to look a little bit rough. And, you know, this could be potential 10-12 scoreline. I gotta say, St. John's, they did so well initially on that round. But then 3v1, they started to get aggressive and started to swing Fixie one by one. And Fixie just, you know, nothing to lose, dives right in there and starts fragging out. Oh, Slim, what is this game like?
Fixie feeling it right now. I mean, if that is not momentum boost, I don't know what is. Bingzu decides that he's going to commit to that teleport. Doesn't come out too well for him there. And just like that, it's going to be a 5v3. Hina, Oppo, and Chopper left, and there's no one towards this B side where they are heading at the moment. Still have the utility there for Oppo, so he will be able to at least spot out a couple of things, you'd imagine, if they start pushing in. And now they can begin that rotate across, but there should be an easy spike plant and an easy 10th round, you'd imagine, for the guys over on Rangitoto. And all of a sudden, you have to look into St. John's psyche. They've had these 5 map points. They brought all the way back. They were probably thinking, you know, we've got that one last round. This is it. We move on to the second map. We're feeling good. Nice comeback. And then Fixie just, that is an absolute demoralizer. And now, left in this 5v3 situation, and not too much they can really do here.
It's rough, man. Although, I like the wall up. Unfortunately, Greeny just goes down as fast as he went up. A man down right now for St. John's, but they are doing a lot of damage, and Toby, all he has to do is sit on that wall, and the players run into them one by one. Double digits now for Rangitoto. They're back into this game. Honestly, I can't believe it. They were down by quite a bit, and now it's them who are starting to snowball. St. John's, they are able to buy, but once again, very precarious situation. They lose this round. It's got to be another eco, and that, I think, will guarantee overtime. So this is the round. This is crucial. Do or die, both these teams.
Mikashi, with the Spectre investment there as well, you could have thought one of his teammates might have been able to buy him across. Actually, Canton, not quite enough. So even though they've won these last few rounds here, they don't really have a whole big investment. I do say that actually Mikashi does have a Phantom now, so never mind. There you go. So I did get the one across as immediately towards this B side. It looks like it's hitting Oppo. Taking a bit of damage from that sentry. We'll build it down. Again, they're just sort of playing this default at the moment. They don't want to invest into anything quickly. They just need to find an opening pick here, and it really is the big round. They pick this up all of a sudden. It's OT. St. John's looking to try and put this one away. And Hina was holding the angle, but Greeny spots them first. And just like that, Rangitoto get the advantage 5v4. As they start to move their way back towards this A site, the spike leaving towards B, and a rotation coming out of there from Chopper Steve as well. So it's going to be 2 players sitting on towards sort of the side here. I mean, you've got Oppo up towards Heaven, but then Celeste sort of falling further back, and they have to hold that angle off if they want to. The Taz going up towards that mid position on short, going to clear that out, not going to find anything there. So They're going to be thinking, all right, it's going to go towards this one here. The Astra one's dropping down. Chopper will pick up Hina, so it's going to be a 5v5 retake. And imagine if unless Oppo can pick up a couple before the spike hits the floor. 28 seconds and counting. And that is what it's going to be, a 5v5 retake. This is the pivotal one. St. John's looking to close out map 1. And Rangitoto looking to push us towards his overtime.
Good start by Rangitoto. Chopper Stevens gone, and Fixie, the double peak, and still gets more out of it. The Molotov burn, 1 by 1, they're falling, and we are potentially going to overtime. What just happened? St. John's had such a strong lead, such a strong way to close out the game, but then from literally the yaws of death, Rangitoto, they brought it back. It's gonna be it's gonna be overtime. It has to be. Look at the economy. Look at the buys. Rangitoto, they aren't struggling at all, and if anything, they're so close to ultimates. Greenie is close to the Cosmic Divide, but it's mostly McAshy who should watch, because he will have the Killjoy lockdown to execute onto a site, basically guaranteed soon. As you can see, he's in B main, he wants the orb, and on the flip side though, it's a scrappy buy from St. John's. They're buying literally whatever they can, and it's crucial in this round that Hina gets either an orb or a kill to have the Blade Storms and try and do a lot of damage with his ultimate. But yeah, man, this game is a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, 6-1 was Rangitoto's lead, and then St. John's sitting at 12-7, looking like they were going to close us out here, and all of a sudden 11-12, and a huge possibility of OT as Oppo pushing around the corner through the smoke, going to pick up one. Ready there for the trade at least, so 4v4. The Killjoy goes down, and that's the ultimate gone as well, so they might be able to get that one through, but Toby does have the revives. You imagine they're going to try and get that one up as quickly as possible.
Oh, yeah.
As they're going to try and commit, looks like towards the B side, because they want to get the revive through, so they have to hold that position at least for the time being. Greening holding that angle as much as possible. Meanwhile, Bingzu's rotated over with Celeste, throwing down the smoke as well. The moment the revive comes in, you imagine they just want to start hitting towards the side. 50 seconds and counting. They're throwing at everything, and McAshy throws it down, and here we go. They need to try and hold this one as much as possible. Bingzu gets the first one, though. Fixie's gone. That's the operator, and that is a big, big kill. Celeste holding the angle. They don't want to get offside here. It could come through with a couple of kills. In fact, they try to leave. They just sat there for too long, and all of a sudden, Toby McAshy swung this huge, and it's a 4v2, and it's down to Chopper and Hina. 25 kills, needs to find 4 more here with Chopper to try and get anything done. The Hunter's Fury also coming out here from Casson, looking to see if he can pick up any damage before they start. All of a sudden, they just need to start pushing and need to find something. The barrier up as well. Hina goes running on through. Actually gets the first one there. Chopper goes down though. And now Hina, the 1v3. We've seen some crazy stuff with the jet knives, but Canon is having none of it. And we are going to OT on our first map here in this best of 3. 12-7 becomes 12 apiece. And both of these sides, they had leads, they had advantages, but neither could really put them through in the end. We have to go to a few extra rounds to decide this first map.
This is unexpected. I could not see this coming from a mile away, I'm not gonna lie. Oh man, back and forth. But now, you know, in overtime, teams have to win 2 rounds back to back. One on defense and one on attack. And the economy won't be an issue anymore. So now it just comes down to pure gunplay and, of course, util team play. I can't help but still favor St. John's because they've been playing solid all game long. But in saying that, you know, look at Rangitoto. They've strung together a nice streak of 5 rounds back to back. Again, potentially the momentum could carry them forward and through. Slow round to start things off. You have a side from working over towards B, but I do think they are eager to hit A here. There's a ton of Killjoy util though, and Astra Stars in the choke point, so it's crucial they either destroy some util or bait it out.
Already pulling out one there. Only Astro, Celeste spamming up towards their heaven position. Meanwhile, Fixie out towards mid, and Oppo
camera taken out.
Trying to make as much noise as possible, looking to see if he can spot any more out. And holding this angle as the boss. Spike itself still hitting rather far back, so they're looking more to see if they can get a pick early. Both teams not giving an inch. No pushes here from St. John's, and no pushes themselves from the defending side here of Rangitoto. They just want to see which one will break first. Celeste still in the prime position to start peeking as now the spike coming together, and you imagine it's going to be a burst on towards this A side. Bingzu setting up for some cover, and now they're going to start bursting on. The Hawks go out, the flashes come. Greeny, there's a little gap there if he gets the angle right. And it's going to be... She went through the pull in. Oh no, that is a huge kills there for Rangitoto. And just like that, it's a 5v3, and Bingzu might not even get the spike down. He actually will stop Fixie as Bingzu has to fall back a bit further, but he will get it down 4v3 after play.
Oh, there's almost a lineup there. This is so tense. 2v3 now, and Hina, you got one early on. Can you go for more? Yes, you can. Here the drop down as well. And it's onto Toby to go for the swing. He's jiggling it, and Hina kind of has the advantage. Dashes to the other side. He still gets the kill onto Toby. And now Greeny, he's the one to clutch it out. 1v2. And the Astra Star, man. Maybe he tried to play it over towards Hell. Hina pops the blades, and it can't help but favor him in this situation. Yes, easy blade shot. Headshot to the head. Quad feed for Hina. 13-12. You know, St. John's, they aren't out of it, especially when economy isn't an issue. I think they're comfortable.
Yeah, that hurts Rangitoto. They had the advantage into that round. They got the 2 big kills early. Mikashi and the pull in there from Greeny on that Astra. Completely decimating 2 of the players over on that St. John's side. But then Hina popping off with a 4K. 30 bomb dropped. As this may be our last round of OT. You imagine it's going to be absolutely everything thrown at it, as it's just Vandals, Phantoms. No one's going to be picking up the operator in this situation.
This should do.
But this all comes down here for Rangitoto. They need to get this attacking round across. Otherwise, it's going to be St. John's picking up our first map on Ascent.
It's very weird as well in the previous round, because I'm pretty sure Rangitoto, at that distance, right, if anyone just swings in closer towards a mainly choke point, you could have seen the nanoswarms and more util, but instead they were just hanging around outside for the longest time, despite knowing that there's Astra Stars and maybe more util there. It's I don't know, man. I feel it was a bit of a miss call, a miss error in judgment. Okay, you know what? It's words are hard. Okay, it is what it is. But
numbers are hard, words are hard. Yeah,
slow round
towards this B start. They're taking their time here. 50 seconds on the clock. Don't want to be pushing anything. I think both these teams now realize, you know, there's so much pressure on all these rounds. You know, Rangitoto, you can't drop this, otherwise the map's done, and that fight back you did is just all for naught. It's Fixie is going to be leading the way, you imagine, as they try and burst into each other. Steve, the slow orb actually coming out at the perfect time. All of a sudden, 30-odd seconds. There's only 2 players really towards this side, over towards B. Less on the angle, and Bingzu's starting to rotate across. And now 25 seconds left on the clock, and Celeste is starting to peek out towards mid. They can still peek through here if they want to. That flash goes out. That's sort of expand the angle, and Fixie spans straight back, picks it up, and now Chopper Steve has to go huge on towards the side. If he can stop the bomb plan, it actually might be enough time to get Mighty Look for a second if he can. Trying to get anything, but Toby will shut them down. A 4v3 retake. Rangitoto looking to keep us going into a second OT here.
Very likely. This time, though, you see, they are shooting the util out. But no, it's a full crossfire. B main and towards lane. Oh, St. John's, they just fell apart. Now, that round, what was really confusing me was, right, you had Celeste as Sky, an agent with a util kit that can really do it all. You can heal, you can gather intel, you can flash, you can push sites, right? And you're watching over towards Pizza. You're not really holding a useful angle, in my opinion, because if you hold over towards mid, right, there's some distance between spotting an enemy and for the attackers to actually push to you. But however, if you're holding from market over towards Pizza, you're basically dead to rights. If you don't get like a few kill streaks there, then you're guaranteed in the one and done spot. And he had the Tasmanian Tiger as well as a few flashes. Doesn't opt to use any over towards B main after silence across the map for so long just to get intel. Even the Tiger towards mid, it will, you know, give your team some intel as well, and you can piece together the whole puzzle. This round, double OT.
Toby holding that angle. Spot out one at least, but he's going to be left on towards side.
Wow.
And Hina will shut him down immediately, and just like that, St. John's have got themselves availability here. The spike, though, it's still stuck over towards. They need to try and get down, and finally be jumping down towards that side. 5v4, Chopper planting the spike, and now it's going to be a retake here for Rangitoto. It needs to come through. And over towards this B side, it's so difficult. And Oppo and also Bingzu holding their angles towards the B main area. Meanwhile, there's 3 on the B side. Fixie will start off nicely on towards Oppo though, but they're not going to be expecting a second there, I wouldn't have thought. Looking for another one though, and Mick actually gets Celeste as they're the reveal with the location. But Bingzu, he's coming, could be a big fight with Mick. Actually gets another Bingzu. Look at his angle with Fixie, and all of a sudden Bingzu, he's in the flank behind him. He needs to find as many as possible. Look for another one, looking for another. Bingzu, the DP starting coming from Canon. He's not realizing he's on there, but Canon misses the spray. Bingzu with 7 HP. He doesn't need to go. The angle, Bingzu, a 4K, clutches it out. How does that happen? That looked like an absolutely winnable, almost match one point round for Rangitoto, and just like that, St. John's, they get the advantage again, 14 to 13. I mean, digital mate, what on earth just happened?
Christ almighty. Bingsu's about to 30 bomb as well. The second player in this game, double, maybe even triple overtime to hit 30. This is just ridiculous. I think Bingsu, you know, in the 1v3, he had a pretty decent start to it, getting that first frag off of the paranoia and then managing to win the duel over towards stairs. But the thing is, he didn't know that there was still one player on the spike. He only expected the player that he killed initially with the paranoia to be the one defusing. So realistically, you know, Katsuo could just stuck it all the way and won that round, but he just got off of it to try and commit to a spray, in which he failed, by the way. And then, what, 1 HP, Bingsu just commits to the clutch. Absolutely ridiculous. And now look, St. John's, they're at the cusp of taking this game one home, finally. But hey, look, if history has told us anything, Rangitoto College, they can strike right back.
So they're making their way towards this A side at the moment. Spike on Mikashi.
Bot coming
So they've sort
back.
of cleared out a lot of that top mid area, but they're going to make their way back here. In fact, they're all joining up together as they sort of make a bit of noise. I wonder if Chomper or anyone close to Bingsu might have heard that. And that smoke going down makes me think they might have. Could have also possibly got them thinking they might be on the rotation now as Bingsu holding the angle. Chopper Steve under towards heaven on that site. And this comes down to Jules and whoever peeks out first. 30 seconds from Rangitoto. They're committing to just this push on here. The blows on the side there from Fixie. They can find Chopper Steve. It opens up this round so much. Hyena around towards that angle as well. And Chopper, he hasn't been cleared out. He gets one looking for another. They don't know he's there. Chopper with a second, almost a third. Fixie finally stops him. The spike has gone down, but they're already losing these numbers, and Fixie needs to find what he can't, a 4v2, and this might be it. St. John's looking to pick this one up 15 to 13.
Well, you say that though, but Mikashi does actually have some util to play with. And but however, he's in a rough spot. Good for one. Misses the second player, runs out of ammo. It's all down to him. And oh my god, so this game finally ends. St. John, they do indeed manage to finish the game. 15-13. What a scoreline. This is just ridiculous. You know, that's the only word I can use to even describe this map one in a best of 3 series, by the way. I mean, both teams had a really good show up on both sides. Initially, Rangitoto, they really struggled after having a strong streak, and the main stark contrast between how these two teams they play the defense is Rangitoto College on defense, they don't play actual defense. They start like trying to go for these fights on defense, and it really punches them more than anything else. But however, you flip over and for the side of St. John's, right, on defense, they use all their util, and you can see it time and time again. And instead of challenging early on, what they would do is basically get some intel, or if they feel that the situation's not good, they'll use a wall or something and just back off, play more disciplined, wait for the rotations, and just play the advantage that a defender has instead of, you know, a defense swinging into multiple attackers. And they did manage to win out, but by God, Slim, very close game.
Oh, absolutely. Absolute treat to start us off here in this best of 3. And I mean, Rangitoto, that will hurt for them, but they just shouldn't take anything away from that as negative. They gave absolutely everything they could have. And unfortunately, I mean, you think of that last round there, I mean, it really should have been a 14-13 towards Rangitoto, and they should have been pushing in, trying to close it out themselves. Unfortunately, it was just like clutches just coming across, and you saw them time and time again. I mean, Fixie, Hina, Bingsu, these players, Mikashi, everyone, when they were called to, they delivered in every single way possible, but there's only going to be one winner of this one here, and St. John's have got themselves in the driver's seat. They take the first map 15-13 after a double OT, which wasn't too bad at all. And we're going to pop in to a quick break, guys. When we return, we will be back with map 2. It's going to be Bind, and St. John's will be on the defensive up against Rangitoto College on the attack. It will be St. John's looking to close it out, or can Rangitoto take us to a best of 3 all the way to our final one on Haven? We'll find out when we return.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Meta HSC Valorant Championship lower brackets. And look, we just saw map 1 of a best of 3 between Rangitoto College versus St. John's Park High School. And honestly, I thought Rangitoto, they had it in the bag starting things off. And then towards the second half, you know, St. John's, they started to go on a bit of a sweep, and they basically got match points. Rangitoto, I really thought they were out of it, but they managed to bring it into, what was it, triple overtime? And then finally, St. John's closed that on their map pick, but by God, it was not easy.
Yeah, it was an absolutely insane map with clutches and big plays just all around. Everything that could have happened there, everything you'd want in a Valorant match to cast and watch. It's just perfect. Everything was absolutely beautiful. And I'm just looking forward to the next map now, as well as we move on towards a bit of our lovely map. Everyone loves some bind, where St. John's will be starting on the defending side, Rangitoto on the attack. And now, even though Rangitoto, this is the sort of thing they need to do with here. It's a harsh one to lose, 15-13. You feel like there's opportunities where you could have won that across in a lot of instances. But they need to put that in the back of their mind. They need to get this one across here. If they can get up bind, they push it to a best of 3. We finish up on Haven, and then you're on that even playing ground, where it's just, all right, both teams, you're going up there, but they need to try and get this one through. So they need to start off as well as they can on this attacking half, get that pistol across, try and get that roll going, and do what they did in that first half of our last map, but then just make sure they keep it going, because they were up 6-1, ended up being down 12-7, but then bring it back from there. So both these teams like a comeback. I think we've figured that out pretty quickly.
They like being under pressure.
Yeah, under pressure. That's the best place to play it.
Look, all right. Map 2, Bind, Agent Pick Select, and looking at things right now, I actually really do like what Rangitoto is bringing out. I like the Sky pick. The Cypher pick, I don't really think you kind of need like a Cypher or Killjoy anymore on Bind. They work, but I don't really think it's in the meta currently. But Viper, that's what I have my eye on. Toby picking up Viper on Bind, I like that so much versatility with the smoke orbs, and of course the toxic screen, and the lineups as well with the snake bites post plants. It's good to see Astras come out on both teams, but hey, look, double smoker for Rangitoto. I like what is potentially happening.
Everything's sort of coming together. Fixie is going to be the one picking up that raise. Bingzu as well,
Select
one there as Hina. Thinking about possibly doing the jet as well, so it could be a double one there for the side of St. John's if they want to do that, and they will put it through. So they've got the 2 attackers, Hina and Bingzu. Chopper Steve on that Seiji once again, Celeste, and then you imagine Oppo will pick up the Sova, and that is how it's going to sit. So probably pretty standard ones there. Chopper Steve, I've noticed he's mostly just that Sage main. I don't think he tends to play a lot of other characters, which is fine. I mean, Sage is, you can use Sage on pretty much all maps. Like, you got the heal, you got the walls block off. They're really just a versatile character, so you can always have that one across. I do like the Viper pickup from Toby. I think, well, as you were saying, that's a lot of just spread there, especially with the ultimate as well, for site lockdowns, especially on towards that B and A site, where you get those sort of close quarter combat as well. Because if you go on towards the sites to try to do the defuse, especially on the B side, it is incredibly hard to get around that one. And all those angles and corners you have to sort of get through to get that kind of thing going. But this is, yeah, as we said earlier, Rangitoto need to make sure they start this one off. You get the first round, you just get that roll going. Do like they did in the last half over there on Ascent, and try and get that one going. They're up 6-1. Didn't work out for them from there, but if they can just do that again, get that aggression and just hold it steady, that is what they'll be looking for. Meanwhile, St. John's, a chance to close this out 2-0. They'll be feeling confident after getting that overtime win, and they'll be wanting to clutch this one out. Send the guys over on Rangitoto packing and look to set up a best of 3 grand final with eviction notice next week.
Hey, look, I don't know how much confidence triple overtime is really going to give you, but here's what it is. Of course, Kevin controls now. Handed over to the lovely Crashman, best observer in OC, and Bingsu, what the hell, man? He climbs up in the sky and doesn't get punished just to escape the pain shells. So far, damage has been done, and it's Oppo with an amazing shock dart to take down Fixie. Oh dear. This is not a good start to the attack round. So much util being used, and you still haven't managed to take control of really anything.
And now the rotation coming through as they go through that telly. Now they're going to try and burst on towards this A side. Chopper Steve's already there. Bingzu also Oppo coming through in these rotations. Layers Green trying to put that spike down. We'll get it. definitely not going to be pushing out to begin with. So 5v4 the retake begins. They are all in bathrooms. The rotation coming out from Toby to go towards that mid position. If they just throw a few things in there, they hold off the angle. You can get at least half off towards there. The Viper flirt. Smoke on the Flash's pretty nice there as well. And Granny, unfortunately, will hit the deck there. Toby coming in from mid will pick up Celeste. They still have an opportunity here. Bingzu just pushing through the right click. Hina and Bingzu are now left on Toby. Hina the 1v4. Can only grab one as Bingzu shuts it down. Picks up a frenzy as well. It goes over towards Hina. And the first round on the board for St. John's. They do it pretty nicely. They hold off, and I think Bingzu's jumped with the with the packs to avoid the grenades. Actually, 500 IQ there works out really well. Doesn't get punished for it either. Not entirely sure how he didn't, but if it works, it works.
I think actually two things went kind of wrong there for St. John's, right? Sorry, for Rangitoto. Losing Fixie early round, that was part of the issue. Granted, he had used the paint shells earlier on, but it's just that if you stack all your players over towards showers, you don't really have anyone that can sort of deny the defuse with util alone. You basically have to swing dry, and 4 players swinging through like a doorway, well 3 players really, swing into a doorway. It's not going to work out quite well. Toby had the right idea playing a Viper with his wall, but unfortunately just a classic at range, you know, just couldn't really get a streak going. And now it's Rangitoto on the back foot again. They are getting these small ones though, getting the ult orbs. And potentially, if they can actually death ball over towards the sites, they can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, Toby is already on that 5 for the ultimate there, so they're trying to get that one up as quickly as possible. Which, I mean, it's the perfect idea with those after plans. Try and get out that Viper ult. Makes things a hell of a lot easier. Still, I'm going to see if they could do some damage towards this mid sign towards A at the moment. Toby's already pushed up fairly closely here, and they have that Viper wall up for the time being, so they should be able to get in towards this hooker position, and it's going to be Oppo needs to Oppo. Not sure what happened there, man. Just didn't react at all. Might have been old tab. Hina will put down 50, goes flying through the sky. Hina with another. You want to be careful when this man has got that Marshall out. He's looking for more here.
30 seconds left.
Spike looking to go down. They should actually get this through, so this is going to be some nice economy here as Bingzu goes flying on in as well. Now they're holding it off. Bingzu though. Toby was waiting to see if he could pick up another kill before planting it. Bingzu does not allow any of that. Grabs both of the remaining players. They get that run down 2-0. Do lose a couple there, but in the end, pretty normal round. Not really sure what happened to Oppo in that situation. He was, I don't know, just sort of standing there staring at a wall, which didn't go too well for him, unfortunately.
Yeah, no. Unfortunately, that round, I really had hoped that Rangitoto, they could at least plant the spike, because that would help their economy just a little bit more in this round, and potentially have a few players able to buy full armor along with the rifle coming into this. But hey, you know, I said it, Rangitoto, full armor, rifles all the way, and they have to play against the bonus of St. John's. Off to a good start. Hina, oh, they don't fully clear the corner. He escapes with murder. The SMG takes down 2, and that's 2 rifles already out of the hands of Rangitoto. You can't afford to lose anymore. 2 is the maximum cutoff. 3 is a problem, although Toby over towards A here. He's starting to do a little bit more damage. The Viper's been invested, but gets caught with his pants down, and that's a harsh punish right there.
Wasn't ready for Bingzu up that close, and that could have come through really nicely. Unfortunately, as it goes, the ultimate will still be safe from that, so at least there's that coming from it. But right now, Mikashi and Cannon looking for anything being rolled in Tangle off or do the 1 and 2. Bingzu loves that. Thank you, mother, for the chickens. Picks up a Phantom from it as well. Hina and Oppo with the Vandals each, and that is going to be 3-0. Bingzu already on 7 kills, feeling it right now. And unfortunately for Rangitoto, they dropped the round where they were the ones that had that full buy, and now the credits begin to build up here for St. John's, and now it's just sort of a half buy here for Rangitoto. A Vandal out for Fixie, and also a Spectre looking possibly for Toby, or maybe they just won't even invest too much at all, as it's just pistols, half ammo, and it's just going to be a really rough one here unless they can find something special.
Interesting to note as well in the previous round when Toby worked his way out of showers, he threw the poison orb basically where the triple stack was. So if he activated that and then he used his ultimate, I'm pretty sure he would have survived and been safe. But instead he just uses his ulti out in the open, and this time the Rangitoto is going over towards the B site, and I would say it's going alright. They are on site, but unfortunately they can't really convert the position advantage into a few kills. I say that as Catan just takes the head off of Celeste, but I think they know exactly where the attackers are. Holding on towards elbow, and at that distance with pistols, it's a tall order, and now they're kind of stuck in there.
I know where they are. I'm the only one with the real gun here today, with that Sheriff Toby still on that classic. All he really needs to do is just hold that angle. The shot dart going out as well. Just needs to be careful. At the push is starting to come home. He swings out the cannon though, and it's all left on Toby. And Oppo, a 4K in the round, feeling it out there. And I mean, again, some decent damage there from Rangitoto, but decent is not going to be good enough. And 4-0, this buy round coming in now is incredibly important, because they drop this, all of a sudden you're sitting at what is essentially just a 5-0 start. And the opposite of what happened when they were starting on the attack last time around over towards Ascent. And yeah, they just need to find something here. I mean, Heater can even get the operator out as well. They had the 9k credits. And I do want to say, so Toby's ultimate actually did get used through, and that means they're back towards 2. Cannon will have one at least towards this round. Heater, as well as the operator, also has the knives, and Bingzu and Oppo just one away from popping theirs off. And it's just such a rough spot here for Rangitoto. They just need to find these early engagements, get these picks for Chopper up towards this boost area here. We'll get spammed down off it, so a good look there. They check it out as they start this pushing towards the A side.
That's rough.
I've got your trail.
Rangitoto though, I think they have a better grasp of this buy round at least compared to the previous. They throw out some util and they start to work their way slowly over towards A. Not much position has been guarded, and Chopper Steve going on a tear, gets 3, Hammer overcommits, but his teammates are there to trade him out. 5-0 St. John's. They are carrying over the momentum, but you know, could this be a little bit of a curse? As soon as a team reaches 6 and they basically guarantee the half, the other team starts to strike back, and you know, gets what, 8 rounds back to back, maybe.
That's just how this seems to be. You do it at this stage. Is again, it's going to be a sort of buy here. Greenies invest at the moment. I do wonder if they're going to sell that stuff off and look to save into the next round, or maybe they're just going for that one man, just try and clutch it all up here in this situation. But they are going to invest at least a few pistols, a couple of Sheriffs, the Vandal, and also the Spectre. But it's such a grand run to find anything, and the Hunter's Fury coming out as well. If he lands this around the right area, Oppo might be able to find a bit of damage. Can't quite find much there, but he'll put them off for the time being, and he knows that there's some around towards that area as well. Is he throwing those nades in towards that U-Haul area? As they take the teleporter there, and Bingzu popping the ultimate. Actually going to be wasted in the end, as they're going to start pushing in here as well. And Celeste holding on towards this B side has a bit to do in this situation. Does have a bit of gun and weaponry at the moment. Gets 2. Greeny shuts them down. Now it comes down to whether or not they just need to find something in Heater with the angled chopper coming through. McAshey can get 1, but that is all they can get. And 6 rounds on the board. St. John's, they have, well, yeah, essentially closed out the first half. They've got their 6 rounds through. As again, another full buy round coming in from Rangitoto, but they just need one of these rounds to land. They just don't seem to have any real setups towards these sites at the moment to sort of just, you know, group up in one position, sort of pushing together, hope that you can find a pick out towards one of these positions. But so far, it's just been perfect holds from St. John's. They look to try and hold off another one here. And look at that credits on half their players as well. They are pretty solid at least, even if they lose a couple for the next 4 or 5 rounds.
It's a bit weird as well, because Rangitoto, they have a double smoker composition, so there's really no reason why they struggle in taking sites. You have Astra and you have Viper util as well, and this time, wasn't the Viper being invested early on, but they aren't pushing out to leverage it. They're getting slowed by just a little bit of util coming out from the defense. And Catan, really aggressive flash, only good for 1 though. Bingzu was fast on the trade. He pushed that by himself, and no teammates went with him. The spike finally does go down, and that's a 4v4 post plant. As I say that, Chopper Steve revives Oppo. There's a showstopper available, and Fixie, he may not live long enough to actually use it. That's my concern.
That's actually managed to get away with that one, but 3 HP remaining as the 4v4 starts to come in. Greeny with that shot going out towards it. Hina picks up McAshey though. And all of a one they still have a chance to score. This one, Hina with another. Fixie will put down Celeste. Managed to get one though. He goes straight out immediately. It's all left on Toby. Hina with a 3K on that operator. Feeling it out. He's on 11. And St. John's are on 7-0. As they just continue on this tear to start off this defensive half on Bind. And after a 15-13, I don't want to call anything too early because we were talking about 6-1 when we were over on Ascent and saying, oh, you know, Rangitoto, they're going to close this one out pretty quickly if they continue on this run. But, I mean, right now, that was the first round they managed to get that bomb down. They had at least some sort of numbers advantage going their way before they had an opportunity. But yeah, it's just big plays from just certain players. Hina, Bingzu, Oppo, Chopper Steve, when they're called upon, they do what they have to do. And unfortunately, no one on the side of Rangitoto has managed to get going inside this first half. Yeah,
Rangitoto, they weren't really trading out their teammates as well, rather playing, I dare say, almost individually. Say U-Haul, that's a prime example. One player in the corner, and there was no one there to do the bait and switch. And Fixie just leaps onto the sites, but no one is there to join him. The U-Haul is being deployed right now, and the site take is so disconnected from Rangitoto. But they are doing a lot of damage, and Oppo with the recon arrow, he's doing so much damage and just buying more time. They know they can play towards elbow.
One enemy remaining.
Flashes out, doesn't clear the corner, and shot dart, dead on McAshey's face. This is pure slaughter. And plus, you know, my point gets reinforced even further. They aren't really playing as a team, Rangitoto. The recon arrow came out, they get 3 people on the site, no one even tries to shoot it.
Yeah, they seem to be sort of relying on Fixie to get these opening picks whenever they burst into the A or B site, and they just don't have any backup for them until like about 4 or 5 seconds later, and you just can't allow these first trades to come off without at least having some sort of presence fighting back towards it. And again, it's going to be sort of this half buy. They've got Spectre's full armor.
I've got your
just
trail.
trying to get anything done here. The Dane's already going out back towards it, doing a bit of damage, but need to find something. He's going to come through, and Hina aggressive towards Fast. Once again, Fixie comes in. At least this time they have the trades available. We can actually get 1-4-4-3, and again, trades back and forth with the numbers advantage. It lies with St. John's, and Hina coming back in behind as well. A chance with this operator. The ult coming out here from Toby is going to allow that, but then the one again. Oppo is just using those recon darts to do his absolute max. Toby will be able to put down one there, but all of a sudden he's left in a 1v2. He's got low armor. Revealed again. Oppo is loving life right now on that Sova, and 9 in a row. What a contrast this is to the 15-13 we had. Was probably about 15-20 minutes ago, and it's just turned on its head here. St. John's, they are loving life.
What is the idea for the attack right now for Rangitoto? They have so much utilities to play with, right? Like, you have the toxic screen on Viper to say block off half the site, which may allow Fixie to, you know, cross deep into U-Hole, say for A site. And of course, you have Cypher cameras to get some intel. You have Sky's flashes to back up your duelist, or even the Tasmanian Tiger to get intel once again. But instead, they use the early rounds to pretty much no avail. And then Fixie, he dives in by himself. Look, again, you heard the blast packs. He's basically on the site, and Fixie's trying to clear a few corners. They haven't fully cleared the site just yet. And there is still an Astra in form of Celeste locking down the angle towards Cubby. He does whip his shots, and this is the best round Rangitoto have had thus far.
Well, that's not good. They did that really well towards long there. The flashes, the push up there from Toby, and also Katon. They used that perfectly. Hunter's Fury will actually pick up Katon there, so full victory. Spike has been planted. They should be able to get this one across your field. Fixie's also picked up that operator. The push starts to come in here. Need to find kills and trades back and forth. Need to find us to double some of Bingzu going out first, jumping out towards the side with those packs. You can see he's sitting pretty low, but they don't really need to peek out these angles. They just have to hold here, wait until the defuse starts coming in, and then they can just trade with each other. They don't need to invest too much into this. They should have this one covered. You imagine Bingzu gets Fixie, but Toby with the trades back and a couple there. Oppo will get a couple third, but he's going to run out of time. And imagine just the 1 HP as well. And Greeny finishes it off, and there it is. Rangitoto, they're on the board, 9-1. They find what they needed to there. And they had to invest almost, and in the end, every single person into it. But a round win is a round win, and that's what they get, what they needed. And if they can just grab them a couple more, make this a 9-3, at least they've got something to work with too into this second half.
Hey, look, it's something, but even if they pick up the last 2 rounds, a 9-3 scoreline. it's not pretty no matter how you try to sugarcoat it. And the economy right now, you know, for St. John's, even if they lose this round, they can basically still buy into the last round of the first half. And in this, 4 players of Rangitoto have half armor. Only 3 rifles to play with, by the way. No ultimates. Pixie, same old story. Dive onto the side, but where's the util? Where's the util? And it's the gravity well for Celeste. Actually stops him dead inside hookah. He can't even escape, and that's 2 blast pads wasted.
It almost actually feels competitive because at least he has someone to train out with, and he gets the first one there. Chopper Steve though with a couple on Oppo. Bingzu comes flying on in, and Granny, and now Toby has to clutch out 1v4. Gets the first, but Bingzu shuts it down 10-1. And St. John's a little blip on there.
Last round
pretty much
in the
perfect
half.
second or first half here, 10-1. And they can't even really, they can't fall by at all into this one, unfortunately. Rangitoto, they just put whatever they can, which is mostly just sheriffs, a couple of specters, bit of half armor here and there. It's rough.
It's such a stiff eco. And still, you know, even that previous round, I don't even know what's going to break down anymore. Their attack pushes, the executes, it's disconnected. That's all I can really say about that. It just seems everyone's playing for themselves. And it's not much, you know, teamwork coming through despite the utility synergy that's possible.
All grouped in towards bathrooms here, trying to find a second round, just trying to get something on the board, something to work. Every time they've attacked, it just hasn't gone to plan here for Rangitoto. Haven't been able to break into anything here, and Chopper on that boost on the wall as well. Going to put down the spike. Toby immediately left in a 5v4 situation with the revive. Pixie goes flying through out of bathroom, but Bingzu shuts them down, and they just have no answer at the moment, Rangitoto, to any of this. They can't get the trades across. They don't have the weaponry, they don't have the utility in this situation. Toby was the only one with an off. Both of their players that had on, both are going down. Chopper the spam through, picks up another, and all of a sudden it's a 5v2 situation. Astra holding out an ult there as well. Granny Hina with a close one down the operator, and Chopper Steve finishes it off. Oppo goes down as well, but 11-1.
Switching sides.
And well, you know, never say never. But right now, St. John's they're in the driver's seat here to take us to a 2-0, finish this one off here, and move on to the grand finals against Eviction Notice, which will be next week. And Rangitoto, well,
bye-bye.
It's rough. It's pretty rough.
You know, in that previous round as well, sorry to cut you off, I have to say, Greeny, I switched over to him to check. He had 4 Astra Stars available. You could have smoked off Heaven. You could have smoked off basically triple stack, like both sides of it, to allow, you know, your team to actually work onto the site at least halfway, especially say Fixie, who basically had only a pistol in that round, and he had to go out of showers blind, well, dry. Heaven wasn't smoked off, and neither was Sight, and he just walks into his death because all the defense had to do was play far back with the rifle range advantage. It's just, what is going on right now? And now on the attack side, right, St. John's, they have a double duelist composition. They have a Sova to basically choose Recon Hour out initially and allow for basically more educated site take. And here's how it starts. Although Mikashi does a really nice one-way, good for 1, but he does get dinked in return. They kind of know where he is, but aren't clean the angle with Mikashi almost escaping with murder. And the trade back is on points. The defenders, they are down a player and a spike to go down for the attack. I think this pistol round should be winnable for St. John's to get the match points.
Spike planted.
Greeny and Toby trying to make sure that isn't the case. Toby with their classic and half armor. Trying to find anything here, just seeing if Bingzu or Chopper, Steve or Oppo, if anyone just peeks into him, give him something to work with. Knows where at least one is. Might be given the opportunity towards Oppo. Does get the dink across. As Green starts pushing in as well, but they just need to start going here. The spike's already started ticking pretty quickly. As Bingzu, they can just keep looking the angle, so they need to push on the side. Bingzu closes them down, and now Granny left in a 1v3. They have a chance here to get something done, but they need to start pushing. They need to just find these kills left, right, center, get them all finished off, but Bingzu's having none of that. A 3K with that frenzy. And unfortunately here for Rangitoto, it is 11 map series points here for St. John's to close us out here on Bind. And I mean, it wasn't a bad round there again for Rangitoto. They've got like Mikashi's, what he had there with that one-way smoke worked really well. Actually managed to get 2 kills out of it, but unfortunately,
yeah,
he needed around him was falling, and
he needed teammates to be able to hold down Octagon or something. Like even Look, even an Astra Smoke would have helped. Otherwise, once that Cyber Cage expires, Mikashi, he was basically in a one and done position. Getting 2 there was already like a huge bonus. I think 1 was the most realistically anyone could have got him. And now fast site take. And they're playing as a team, right? 2 players diving into U-Haul. And of course, full confidence all the way. Spikes are going down. But Catan, he takes some bases at the back of his head. Catan gets the second with the Sheriff. And now the attackers, they are down a player. And it's 4 Spike coming out from Rangitoto. It may honestly work.
Possibly here. Chopper will put one down off from Bathroom. And it's back in the 2v2 situation. They still have a chance here, Mikashi, and now it's left on Celeste to clutch this out here for St. John's. Greeny and Mikashi trying to keep this one going, and they know he's towards this shot angle. And when he starts to pull in, Mikashi brings it out, and just like that, we keep going, Rangitoto. That's 1 round. Only 11 more needed, or 10 more needed after this. 12-2. And, well, I mean, the credits here are going to be great here for St. John's. And I doubt they're going to really invest into this one. They don't need to rush. I mean, you're up 12-2. You don't need to, you know, be throwing a whole bunch of, like, half buys at this. Just get a sort of save across, you know, have the pistols where you can get them, a few maybe little bits of utility. Save up for that full buy and then just finish it off when you need to. Meanwhile, Rangitoto giving themselves an opportunity, and they've got the 4 Spectres into this round of Sheriff. If they can get through this one and save a few weapons, or even just build up that credits, they then have an opportunity. But then the problem is they'll probably face a bonus against the full gun round, which will really, really hurt as they're going quickly in towards this B side here, St. John's.
Greeny, gravity well. It's good to buy some time, but I think it's in his best interest to kind of escape. And there's the paint shot combination. And 1 by 1, Rangitoto, they're starting to rack up these kills and charge up the ultimates little by little. Although Fixie in a rough spot, and he misses his shots. Greeny, please don't go down here. It's all down to Healer, who gets the kill, but he's in a rough spot. Only 8 bullets left to play with. And even more less so now. Only 5. He's got to run out of ammo, and he just gets absolutely jumped on by the 3 players of Rangitoto. As Rangitoto, they get their 3rd round. This is 30%. This is 30%. This is 30% of their rounds.
Yeah,
that was 30%.
It's all coming together.
Yeah.
They've turned on the monitors and they're finally waking up here. They need to just keep going. 9 now needed to try and force this to OT, but that is a long, long way away. They've just got to be focusing on rounds to rounds at this point. And see, this is the problem that comes in here. They win that round, but because they had the bonus one really coming across, they've got the 3 Spectres still, a Phantom and a Vandal. Meanwhile, there's a full buy here for the guys over on St. John's who want to finish this here and now. They're up 12-7 over on Ascent, and they made that one go to OT. So they could be sitting in the back of their minds. They just want to finish this now. They don't want to get in this habit of just letting a few rounds going here and there. As they're sitting up towards this B side, and Greeny and also Mikashi have a lot of work to do to try and hold this one down. And they might just even give it up at this point. They've just sort of fallen off, and they're just going to allow for the utility. I say that, and Greeny pushing out from there and picks up Bingsu. That is a big kill to start us off 5v4. Mikashi, they get the locations of a few there. The spam doesn't quite come through as the wall was up. Still hitting it towards it. There! The
Spike
back and forth. Spike goes down 5v4, but they have a big opportunity to try and get us to another round here as Mikashi going big at the moment as well.
The defense is the record of all these kills, and now they're starting to play as a team on the defense. Wow, it just seems that Rangitoto, they have a much more comfortable time on defense when they aren't the ones who have to, you know, kind of clear a site. Instead, go up the retakes. Basically, they guarantee knowledge of, you know, where the attackers are kind of playing, and then they start working on clearing the angles, and that's it. That's the 4th round now. 25% of the rounds in that previous round. There you go. And
they're coming up against full buy there as well. So it means that the loadout here is going to be pretty. Well, that means that half buy coming in against the Chopper's got
it should be guaranteed.
Yeah. We say that, and then you just know something's going to happen.
And he goes for an absolute like quad feed or something. Hina aces the game with the blades. Oh my god, that's match point. What a way to send them home. All right, there you go. There's the blades. And look how they're playing. They're sending out utility first, right? To kind of clear a lot of these angles before the duelist dives on. He knows there's one Heaven and Fixie. Oh man, if he stayed there for a second longer, he would have been in a rough spot.
Hina was looking for it, doesn't quite land though, as they're going to again look towards this B site. Only the 1 player on here at the moment, Celeste of Greeny making his way back here. Should be just back in time to see that this angle if they want to start hooking Mishaki. Holding this site with the Phantom. So I want to sort of set up for this B split. 2 coming out of that hooker area. Meanwhile, 3 bursting through that B long side. And Fixie's already jumped there as well. They've got an ultimate. So does Mikashi. Oppo and Hina also still have theirs. A few knives left on Hina. 50 seconds and counting. At the back, Celeste looking to try and set up. That's what the angle. Then Greeny takes a huge amount of damage to that, only at 5 HP. Gives them an opportunity to start pushing in here. Bingsu flying in towards there with that Sheriff. Mikashi's holding the angle, but his location gets revealed, and they're all spamming him down. How is he alive? He gets a kill out of that Oppo. Oh, he shuts it down with Fixie. A double third. Fixie goes massive, and the hold comes through. I don't even know what happened for half of that. It was just a whole bunch of things flying around. Fixie somehow gets a double, and then finishes it off with a shot right to the brain of our boy Oppo. And 12-5. Again, a full buy will be coming in here for St. John's, but it's just slow. The doubt slowly starts creeping in. You know, you've got all these map points to work with, but the moment you start losing one here and one there, and it just keeps eating at the back of your mind, and slowly but surely, it gets closer and closer and closer.
Well, 7 rounds is still a long way to go, to say the least. But in this round, right, after losing, like, what was that, 4 rounds back-to-back, St. John's, they have basically 4 ultimates online, and potentially this is their round to really win. Fixie holding this tight angle, but Hina, oh, the timing. But Fixie's walking deeper, and he bites us more than he can shoot. Hina's just faster on the flank, and what's better, he has a Sage to heal him back up to full health. Oh my god, gets the double! He blocks back into U-Haul, and Katana and Toby had no idea that they were hugging each other for dear life, and they get dunked on just like that. Look, I said they had the ultimates, but I wasn't expecting this, man. 5v2, and they're on match points. It's only Mikashi and his teammates, Greeny, left. Then you have the neural theft. It's not the most impactful ultimate in a 2v5. I think it's it. I think this is it.
I think this is all she wrote here. Greeny and Mikashi, they can only do so much. The camera popping out, immediately destroyed. They just hang hold in these angles, and they have to find 5 players in limited time as well. Mikashi will pick up one, but Oppo there for the immediate trade. And now Greeny, there is nothing they can really do. Goes jumping on in, drops one. At least we'll get one there. But that is all she wrote. 13-5, 2-0. It is going to be St. John's Park High School winning our lower bracket grand finals. And they will be moving on next week to play the Glen Waverley eviction notice, boys. And yeah, just unfortunate in the end there for Rangitoto. I mean, the first half was really what put them away there. It was 12-1, and they just could not recover from that. Or 11-1, actually, I do say. Wait, 12-1, 13-1. It was a bunch of rounds, a lot of rounds towards the guys over on St. John's, and they pull it through pretty simply in the end. But at first map, there's a lot to work with the Rangitoto. I mean, they go down today, but there's definitely, considering what they pushed them all the way to OT, possibly could have won that first 1%. I think they can go away thinking, you know, we gave a fairly good effort. They want to be rethinking behind. There's plenty of stuff they need to work on with that attack. But I mean, they were showing there. They've got some decent defensive strats and know how to hold off those angles, the placements, the stuff with their util. But yeah, St. John's just too strong on that defense. And they looked absolutely impeccable for most of that. And I mean, do we have an MVP yet, or do we have to think a little bit longer? Because I feel like I know this.
Well, okay, I think I know who you're going to say, but I actually think the MVP should be someone else. And which let's just talk about it right now.
Look, MVP, I can agree with this, though.
You can agree with this? Fair enough. Okay, the MVP right now for this best of 3 series, it will be Oppo from St. John's Park. Now, you may be wondering, hey, why Oppo? I mean, Hina was popping off, you know, map 1, dropping the 30 bomb first, right? And he was landing shots with the Marshall, with the operator, he was impactful, but that's what a duelist should be doing. And, you know, you shouldn't give the limelight always to the fragger and the duelist, but Oppo, map 1, he was there. But map 2, right, I want to especially point out his Sova utility, the recon arrows, especially on defense, I dare say it won them a lot of rounds. The information was perfect. Even when, you know, a Viper's pick came up, he had a recon arrow and the Aldro left to basically find where the players were inside, and it gives his teammates just the ability to go shoot through with perfect intel, and win the round easy peasy. It's so oppressing to play against a good Sova. And overall, right, it just compounds onto the fact that today St. John's as a whole, they played much better as a team. The executes were there, the communications were there, and they played much more disciplined compared to Rangitoto College, who initially, they looked strong. They had moments of brilliance here and there, but unfortunately, towards, I don't know, mid-game, towards the late game, especially in game 2, they really started to slip. Like you said earlier, they have to look back and think of how to play Bind again, because their attack side, as much as I hate to say it, it needs a lot of work. They played too much individually and not enough as a team. Double Smoker, by the way, it should allow you on paper a lot of flexibility to either hit one side or the other, or completely just block off one side and allow your teammates to safely go on. It didn't happen, and I guess the scoreline shows.
Yeah, 13-5 there. And I mean, also just talking about Oppo again there as well. The fact that he top frags there and also gets himself all those utility picks, and he's just allowing his teammates to get in those angles and get those kills when they need to. And especially like just a few of those rounds, he completely clutched them himself. He just shooting out the arrows, the shock darts, everything was just going wherever he wanted to. He was feeling it there. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately for Rangitoto, there's a lot to learn from it. I mean, as we said, Ascent 15-13. There's a chance that they probably could have won that one through. And they started off 6-1. And I think we both sort of thought St. John's were the stronger team coming into this one. But I mean, so they got off to that start over on Ascent, and we were just like, oh, all right, 6-1. They are in absolute cruise control. And then all of a sudden they're down 12-7. But credit to them, they fought back really hard there. Unfortunately, they just couldn't really get it going on Bind. There's definitely the stuff they need to work on with a few things here and there, but that will come with time. That will come with, playing together more as a team. And the fact that they've gotten this far in the tournament, they should be very proud of themselves. I mean, 3rd overall in pretty much the entire competition, coming from New Zealand as well. So, and we hadn't seen them before last week. They just got there because we don't do the New Zealand casting games. So it was a pleasure to watch them, and hopefully they will be back next year for some of that. But as it stands, we have our final 2 competitors ready to go for next week. It is going to be Eviction Notice and St. John's. And St. John's, I mean, they got the job done today, but they face a very stern test in the next one. And they played Eviction Notice earlier in the bracket as well. And it was only the one map, but it was a 12-5 or 13-5, I believe, over on...
Or something like that.
Yeah,
Eviction Notice,
I think it was over on Ascent as well. But Eviction Notice are a very strong side. Like, they have very solid team players. They can switch up between characters when they need to. And St. John's, well, I say good luck to them because they're going to be running a very tough one. But when you've got someone like Hina who's popping off all the time, Oppo going to everything, Chopper Steve with some nice walls here and there, and even Celeste, even on that map there, didn't particularly pop off, but looked very strong over towards the Ascent side of things on that Astra. They've got plenty to work with as well. So Eviction Notice, they'll be watching this. I'm imagining a few of the guys today thinking that they've got a pretty tough task ahead of them. That will, of course, be next week. And yeah, as it goes, we say goodbye to Rangitoto. Godspeed to them and well done for getting so far, but you have come up short today. And congratulations to St. John's closing it out 2-2-0.
Indeed. Everyone, thank you for watching. That's our single best of 3 series for today done. This is, once again, Meta HSE Valorant Championships, the lower grand finals best of 3. Tune in next week, same time, same place for the grand finals. I'm Digital Cast, and of course, with me, my co-caster has Daddy Slim. Meta HSE Valorant is sponsored by Optus, Torrens University of Australia, and MSI. Thank you for watching. See you next week.